Hi everyone, Day here. Welcome back to my Let's Play of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So, in the last episode, we did make, I would say, considerable progress within the trial of Soseki Natsume. We spoke to the witnesses, the Beats, who happened to be husband and wife, Patricia and Rolly Beat, I believe are their names. And Patricia brought to light, well, thanks to Patricia knowing the names or half-heartedly the names of certain books, she allowed us to glean new information from Von Zieks, who presented a photographic print that we did not have before of the victim holding a book within hand. And now we are pretty much around that point, I believe. So we're gonna hop back into it. 'Cause I'm curious. I need to know. So I did when I play my games, I do have a bad habit of leaving them running. And I did that with this game. I didn't save and quit immediately after the last one. So when I turned it on, I accidentally pressed A once. So because I did that, I will be opening the history and just reading the last few sentences here. That way we're all on the same page. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? I wonder what became of that fourth book. Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Consul. My pleasure, my lord. A second photographic, or I'm sorry. Print. A second photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident specifically shows the victim's hand. A book entitled The Lion's Pride discovered in the victim's hand at the scene. So The Lion's Pride, if memory serves, is the name of the book that Mr. Giradeb considered his favorite book. And I considered the fact, or at least I was heavily leaning towards for sure in the last episode, that his wife took the book as some kind of threat to the young lady and stabbed her in confrontation. I mean, I feel like that has some holes, like the fact that it stabbed her in the back, and the fact that I don't know. I don't know. I would just say that that's pretty much 60% my current leaning with the information we have gathered so far, is that Joan may have, in a jealous rage, done something to the poor lady. How she snuck out of the house, if she even had to sneak out at all, it could just be something that they both decided to withhold from us. Time will tell, I think. The prosecution rests. I have nothing to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend, but your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes. Futile. The spurious, longer route to the accused's lodgings that you tried to establish in your examination, and then attempted discrediting of the witness's power of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile. I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. Wait, what? I honestly don't think she can marry you any more than she's already wedded to you. Jeez, he's in love. Which is not a bad thing. So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury will like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? Well, he's definitely stitching his case together like a loose thread. You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. What of the people we met outside? Like, I feel like Susato said that the one guy that was Soseki's neighbor, he most likely has nothing to do with the case. Or it was Ryanosuke. One of them said something like, he probably knows nothing. And the other guy, we really don't have any information on him. But couldn't they be witnesses? Because it's like, I feel like they didn't show them for no reason. And if they don't come up within this trial, I want to say this would be like the first time in Ace Attorney history where we've seen people in a case and they don't show up within that episode. So it would definitely shock me if they don't come into play at all. So I want to say that this isn't true, because we have not spoken to them at all, like at all, barely even a little bit, except for the one guy that I called the Jester. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fade back in the wrong way now, could very well just make matters worse. Oh, it's a decision. Think, Ryanosuke, think. What do you do now? I don't know. I mean, they're showing that I will lose some kind of points or something here, right? Normally, wait and see. It's kind of difficult to say, because there have been times in Ace Attorney history where, yes, you will press wait and see in order to progress instead of raising an objection. That was the wrong, that route would be the wrong route. Do I think that they're already pulling a fast one on me? I'm just gonna raise an objection. I don't feel comfortable enough to do a wait and see. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Von Zieks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. Von Zieks. I've been kind to not just you, but to pretty much majority of the people in this country who seems to have some stigmas against me, or Ryanosuke, however you want to look at it. I view myself as Ryanosuke when I play a game like this. But anyways, I have literally sat down on my haunches for too long. You need to stop. Get some help. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. Yeah, there's that whole... What year is this supposed to be again? I don't know. But, you know, the whole women's rights things and stuff like that. That probably also plays a part. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madame. What a nice judge. Go ahead, Mr. Sato. Please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? Oh boy, for a second I read insignificant. I'm like, come on. Give me a break. What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. That's true. I'm like, I honestly don't know where she will be going with that. I don't have any idea. I see. You believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? It is true that this is why I hate when I like take a couple of days off or a day off. 'Cause I guess we didn't examine the new evidence. In fact, I probably could stand to get it up. I mean, this looks like a singe point. Right, this is obviously a singe point. So it shows that this book, ooh, that's something I didn't really think about. But saying it like that just made me think of something. This book was within the house at the time that the fire started. That means something somehow. For sure. Like I think I mentioned that the book was burned, but I don't think I actually realized the significance of what the book being burned truly meant. That makes sense. Okay, The Lion's Pride, Mr. Giradeb's favorite book. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burned. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the later pages. What a terrible waste. Yes, pretty much game over. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Hint, hint. Yeah, I just don't know. A book recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? You're a little slow. Well, not really. Like I said, I kind of cheated that because I normally when I record a video, I rewatch said video from sometimes beginning to end, depending on my time or whatever. But I do that so that way I can see if like there's something I need to edit out of that video, yada yada. So in so doing that, I remember like I saw Mr. Giradeb again for a second time, saying that his book was The Lion's Pride. So that helped. Oh, did that change the evidence? And speaking of going back and rewatching stuff, wait a second. I think that that's not it. Find anything out of place? This part. There was something more. Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all, so it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before. And very recently, too. It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo. But also, the Switchblade. I remember when I first played this game, or when I was rewatching that episode, I realized I didn't click on like certain things on this knife. What? Oh, I guess that was all. Never mind. It did nothing. Okay. So we did examine the evidence again, and I think we changed the description in so doing that. So that might be more beneficial than us not examining it. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. Judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. We do not want that. Ryunosuke, we do not want that. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is, and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Well, that's a hint, I guess. She didn't mince any words there. But yeah, you had to, it was like, I saw that it updated, so therefore you needed to examine it in order to get further. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Miss Susato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Oh, that face. He looks so so cheesed.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Just gonna present the book.
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene.
I guess I could have presented that too, maybe.
The fourth book, found in the victim's hand. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it.
He wouldn't know about that because he wasn't in the room at the time. Oh, Von Zieks, you can only know as much as you know. Isn't that right?
Pursuing the matter further will be a flagrant race to the court's time, as you well know. Ah! Yes, I'm afraid, Consul, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue.
Did you see that? What was Von Zieks thinking? He's like, oh, maybe they know more than I know. Which we kind of do.
So I must insist that you elaborate, Consul. You will identify this clue at once.
The title.
Do I make myself clear?
No, the burn mark, duh, you idiot.
Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence.
The burn mark. I said the title. We don't need that just yet. If ever.
Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right.
Yeah, Von Zieks looked insanely afraid. Not outwardly. But we did notice he probably got a chill down his spine. He was so nervous.
So, Consul, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this fourth book conceals?
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I can't even skip it. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry. That's right, such a pity. And do you see the flaking edges of the burnt pages, Mr. Naruhodo? This is your sign that the damage occurred relatively recently.
We read this already. I honestly can't skip it any faster than what it wants me to skip it at. Definitely rings a bell. Present.
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you? Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Ugh. Is this really going to be a Joan tried to kill her type thing out of jealousy?
Unnatural, you say, and what of it, my Nipponese friend?
Oh! Keep at it, Ryunosuke.
Your eye to concede the point. If it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day, pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book? There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. I wonder what he's thinking of.
Because it hasn't been an outside chance for me from the start. I mean, we had a whole logic and reasoning spectacular. That might mean nothing in the future. Who knows? But that just led me to believe, especially at this point, that it probably meant more than they were trying to. Well, it probably just meant more. It's why it's in the game, I guess.
Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, Consul. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage this sorry tome has suffered?
book's owner.
My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers.
See, this is what happens when you just jump to conclusions. You don't have all the facts, you don't have all the information or evidence, and, well, I mean, I guess you had evidence, but you gotta get the whole picture to really figure out what went down. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand is yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious, how can you possibly?
Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember that members of the jury may well have been you if your gamble goes awry. Yeah, sure.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So to the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Male Schronkart. Joan!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb.
Oh, he didn't know that. At least I don't think he did. Look, the shock! The literal shock! Gosh, I feel like this is probably the most shocked I can remember seeing him. Anyway, remember being a key word because I don't remember how the last trial ended.
The landlords.
And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but it's kind of sus. Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garadeb herself. Oh, he brought it to light! He brought it to light! I thought that it would just be like a natural occurrence. He actually, that's hilarious. He just said that. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence. Exactly. Oh my goodness me! I think you must be mistaken, sir. She didn't take the acceptance letter. No. Oh, I was really about to jump the gun in some kind of crazy, absurd fashion. Do you want to know? I was getting so far ahead of myself. I was going to say that Joan took the acceptance letter of jury duty from the victim. But that makes no sense. Because obviously we're only here because of the victim, right? There was a victim. I'm not Mr. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house? I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir. Oh, you're lying. This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. Objection! This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house.
Good lord! What sort of incident, Consul?
That literally just opened the door to another question. because like the thing I'm thinking about, because I didn't even think about it that way. But he just said, but Ryunosuke just mentioned something and it triggered me. He said that the defense have us know that at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, that incident, when the fire started, that was around the same time she got stabbed. Doesn't make any sense. No, I mean, it makes sense. The game is obviously saying that this is what happened, but what doesn't make sense is my theory anymore. I just got debunked. Because the fire incident, but even still, it all adds up somehow. Because she got stabbed in front of their abode. She got stabbed in front of their house. She ended up with the book. No, I don't know how. How would she end up with the book? Fire, my lord.
For it to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. While it finished, it started going up as well.
They opened the window. I'm about to cry. Like they had to open the dang window, right? You don't have a fire in your house and not let the smoke out. I'm hitting myself because like that's so obvious. Like you have to open the window to let smoke out. You can't have a fire. Okay, you can have a fireplace, sure, but you can't have a fire scorching your books and singeing and everything and not let smoke out. I can't believe I didn't catch that the first time.
Worst of it is I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Blood.
Because he said that it was so much smoke in there they couldn't even see anything anymore, right? That is a dark face for Von Zieks.
The Lion's Pride. By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate.
Hold up. I gotta think some more. Oh. Okay, so they opened the window to let smoke out. I don't see how that changes anything. I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's like I just feel like there was a point where they mentioned they didn't open windows. Like, I feel like that was mentioned maybe like, I would say like 3 episodes ago, or like it was a long time ago, which is why it's kind of fuzzy. But I feel like they mentioned they never opened a window. I don't know. Oh dear me! Objection. I'm getting so into it that I can't even keep up with the characters anymore. I want to figure it out.
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire.
Von Zieks, even for you have to realize that is completely absurd. That not only was the victim in front of their home with the book, the favorite book of one Mr. Garadab in his house. Like, sir, I know you're trying your best. I do, but even you have to realize that that's absolutely bonkers. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. So then what? So, okay, Von Zieks, and here's another, a big smudge on your theory. Like, why is her book singed? Or burned, I guess. It's not singed, it's kind of torched. So, can you explain that part to me, sir? Since you're bringing up the point of that book and Mr. Garadab's book are 2 completely different entities. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Okay. Let me think about it. No, I don't want to think about it yet. Not yet. I'll think about it at the end of this episode, I think. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Yeah, she was mad when she was mad about that. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb, even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! I can't imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you really? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
He burned the book. They're all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books, incoming 10 to the dozen. I forgot about. Now this part I did forget about. I remember the book. So she flung the book outside the window. So I'm guessing that the victim picked up the book. Like, because the book was on fire. Like, I refuse to believe Von Zieks' absurd theory. Like, it was obviously his book. So therefore, yeah, the timing suggests, which means it wasn't Joan. Joan shot the book out the window because she was attacking her husband, but she didn't stab the lady. Yeah. So Joan is off the hook. She was in the house. She was for sure in the house at the time. Like, I could see that piecing. I see that piecing itself together. They opened the window, which is why there was no holes in the window itself. They opened the window to let smoke out, and he mentioned that the before and after of that was that went up in smoke. And then while he was against the window, which had to be open because of the smoke, she started throwing stuff at him. Why didn't this register before? Because I didn't have the evidence? I don't know. I was thinking it was Joan the whole... Well, Joan tossed the book out the window, but that's not... Someone else had to be on the ground level to stab her. My guess is... Now I don't know. Is it gonna be the people we haven't seen yet then? Like, the guy that they assumed had nothing to do with this case? The jester? No. Now I don't know, because I was heavily leaning towards Joan. But now I understand why we had the little thing. Wait a second. I don't think I read it. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious, are you suggesting the book was thrown through a window and let it coincidentally at the scene of the crime? The judge got it in 2 seconds, and I had that whole premise delivered to me on a silver platter, and I didn't see it at first. No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there is no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. Okay, I feel better about myself now. If Mr. Bane of the what is his title again? I would think of it later. Like, I know what it is. I just can't think of it right now. But if he can't even figure it out, then I don't have any problems with that.
Reaper of the Bailey. If the Reaper of the Bailey can't handle it with the information being presented to him like that, then you know what? I feel better. I'll feel way better about myself. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Giradeb household. But it is not conceivable. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely? Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. Now I really feel better about myself because even if let's just say at the round 3, because I've seen that other scene twice or whatever, but at the round 3, I didn't figure that much out. I would definitely feel better about realizing with all the other information we just got right here in this one scene altogether. You're like, dude, no! No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Ah! Oh, come on, Ryunosuke. Be with me for once! It's like, even when it feels like he's completely on track, like, choo-choo, he literally just derails it. And I'm like, huh? You were here. You were literally parallel to the truth.
This defense postulate the scene. Oh, this scenario in all seriousness, Counsel. Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Giradeb's wife?
Absolutely. 600,000%. I believe it's a possibility, my lord. I absolutely agree. Is it the Reaper of the Bailey?
That's enough! Oh, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster! You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward! A mean coward!
I'm not the one attacking my husband, though. I don't know. Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly,
He never said that.
Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully your family's name.
No, I assure you, that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Right, Mr. Fairplay, seriously? Monsieur, let me just say one thing to you. Just one thing. Shut up! Like, come on. Here we go.
How long have we sat here?
He said, here we go to Mr. Fairplay speaking.
How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting off out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too.
At this point, I can't argue the fact that it feels like we were on a circular hamster wheel, and at the end of the day, we still have 0% ideas who stabbed her. We have no ideas.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry. What's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord von Zieks?
Oh my gosh, he's so happy with his almost win he's about to drink.
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily proceeding. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
No! Wait! Stop the presses! The mystery of the whoa! I can't believe it. He finally did the last thing and it caught me off guard.
If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time.
This dude put his big, fat, juicy leg on top of the table.
What? No forgive discourtesy this time?
I don't think I think he feels like you ate up his time.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear. Guilty.
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 No! Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
What?
Thank you for your unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over.
Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up.
Miss Usato?
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet.
You're not suggesting.
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
My lord, the defense acts to exercise its right to a summation examination.
You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. Wait, I think I missed... Oh no, I didn't.
I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth.
Thank you, Ryunosuke.
This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined.
And that, my learned friends, is exactly where we shall end this video. Wow, okay, I definitely had to shift my thought processing around in this particular episode for sure. I honestly feel like I was thinking Joan killed her by like 85%. But there was no way she could have went outside, right? She threw a book out the window. But if that's the case, if we really truly believe that, which I could, after all of that, I could totally see that being that 100% at this point the case, then I have no idea who stabbed her. I refuse to believe it was Soseki. We already had Mr. McGillet's case. It would be insane to believe that we would have another one back to back like this. Oh, this game is so fun. Like, I don't know if you guys are enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it, but this, I love mystery detective stuff. Like, this is 100% my favorite genre of all time. And I thank my mom every day for starting me off with Nancy Drew books when I wasn't doing well in reading. And it just triggered my love of reading, like mystery detective stuff. I love it. Especially the whodunit stuff. So video games, yes, awesome. Because it's like I'm literally in the role of the character solving the case. I love it. How can you not? But anyways, I'm literally starting to ramble right now. I want to make a video on my first Ace Attorney game and what it meant to me, and kind of like delve a bit into some of the cases and just talk about it, reminisce a little bit, especially since that game is getting ready to release, I wouldn't say January or February of next year. Yes, indeed. My first ever Ace Attorney game was Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I didn't even realize Phoenix Wright existed at that point. I didn't realize any of it, so yeah. But anyways, until next time, my learned friends, I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. And until next time, au revoir, arrivederci, and all that stuff. Bye.